Hello, it's Edwin from Think to Win. I'm here with a new deck profile, and this time I'm with my updated Eradicators deck, which pretty much just includes Ignition Dragon and another card, which you guys will see. And yeah, with the release of PT14, Ignition Dragon and Lawrence Force got released, so here's my updated deck. Like with all the hype, Ignition Dragon Gauntlet is hype pretty much, but I feel like it's a decent deck, but it's not really amazing. I mean, compared to Nouvelle, Nouvelle is still better, but we'll get onto that later. Well, as a starter, still use Linshu, Pioneer. If you ride on a Narukami unit, goes back to Regular Circle. And when you boost an Eradicator and you hit, you can counter plus 1, non-Eradicator, and retire one of their great zeros or 1 and put this into the soul. Well, obviously, still the best starter for Narukami. So yeah, recommend using this, especially if you can get it off early and remove your opponent's Conroe. They cannot use Nouvelle, so it's really good. And for the trigger lineup, I still run the same 6 draw, 6 crit, and 4 heal. You might consider running more crits. The only reason why you would is because of the fact that Nouvelle exists, and it means that getting the draws into your damage is not that amazing anymore. Because back in the day, before Nouvelle came out, if you get drawn the damage, it's like a dirty +1. Not only do you have cheaper guarding, but you also get a card. But with the trigger negating ability, it's really lame. So you cannot get more. Cards into your hand and not even get the power. So yeah, might run more crit, but right now, since the only matchup which is bad is Nouvelle, I still run 6 draws, and not many people at my locals play Nouvelle, so having 6 draws still good. And for the grade 1 lineup, still the same: 4 perfect guards, 4 Shuki, 4 Demolition Dragon, and 2 Phoenix. You might switch it to Phoenix for Kokachi, the 10k booster. I still prefer Phoenix. Well, Phoenix skill is when you call to regular Soul Blast 2 and draw a card. Basically, well, you always have Soul, unless you use one before, and then you can still use Cho-ou and get more Soul, and if you break red, you also get some more Soul, so decent card. Next, for Demolition Dragon, 7k, 10k attacker, not too much to say about that. So basically, early game, attack the rear guards, Vanguard, and if they're at grade 3, you can still attack the rear guards. Really good for making rows as well. And for Shuki, skill is when you retire a unit on your opponent's side of the field, it gains 3k power. Really amazing with a Condition Dragon though, like for counter +1 you get a 13k booster, which is very nice. With a 10k in front of it, you can still hit for, like with this, you can actually hit a crossfire for decent numbers. But yeah, that's the reason why you run it, is to make higher than like 18k rows and decent rows. If your opponent have 11k Vanguard, you hit 22k with your 12k, or at 21k with your 11k, or actually hit 23k with this, whatever. You can make good rows with this. And for perfect guards, because if you have a mirror match and you cannot perfect guard, you are screwed. And Nouvelle, damn Nouvelle. For perfect guards, because right now they're staple high numbers, Nouvelle, crits, everything with restands, Minerva. For perfect guards, still staple. Next, for the grade 2 lineup, I run 4 Sparkling Dragon, which are the 12k attacker of the deck, 4 Cho, and the new card 3 Lawrence Force. Let's go in with Lawrence Force first. Skill is when you ride a grade 3, you can counter +1 and remove one of their front row, which means that if you have this early game, it's amazing. If you break red, it's amazing. If you have that in your hand in late game, it's not that amazing. It's like shit, but anyway, it's still a decent card. The reason I run 3 is because I basically switch out Thunderboom Dragon, which is a vanilla, and since everybody is running 9ks, I think that Lawrence Force as an extra is useful. The card itself is not that amazing, and having 3 Thunderboom is not that. I mean, if I ran 4, I would understand why I wouldn't run this card, but compared to Cho-ou, which is more useful overall, this card is a bit meh. But still, a decent card if you have it early game. Most trolls if you have 2 on them on the field and you counter blast 2 when you ride a grade 3, but that rarely ever happens. For Cho-ou, well, still for Cho-ou, skill is when you call to regular circle, put another Eradicator unit from your side of the field into the soul, fueling your soul for Rising Phoenix, and you can retire one of your opponent's front row. Good card. Also, the thing which makes Cho-ou good is the fact that it does not cost any counter blast. So if you have a Gauntlet Buster and you're screwed because you don't have any counterblast. You can still use Cho-ou, and since I'm running more draws, you're bound to have more cards in your hand, which doesn't necessarily mean more shield value, but you can use it for Cho-ou. And for Spark Crane, 12k attackers, because yeah, hitting 18k is good, and early game when their opponent rides to 7k, you have to block for 10, or they have to block for 10. And next for the Grid 3 lineup, where a new update will be 2 Draconic Descendant, 3 Gauntlet Buster Dragon, and 3 Eradicate Ignition Dragon. 1 Gauntlet is SP, and 1 Descendant is SP. Yep. And yeah, now this is the new card, so let's go on with this one as first. Ignition Dragon is the new break ride of the deck. If you break ride, you gain 10k power, and well, of the cost of counter +1, you get 10k power, and your opponent has to retire 2 units on their side of the field. And I think if you have more rear guards, yeah, if your opponent's rear guards more, you gain 2k power, but inconsistent 13k. But I guess in Dragon Empire, for some reason, they're usually inconsistent. But yeah, so basically what you do is break out Gauntlet Buster over Ignition and have the extra crit, trollolol, you have to guard. If you don't guard, you die. Gauntlet Buster skill is, well, if you retire something on your opponent's side of the field, you gain 3k power and a crit. So with Ignition Dragon, you gain 6k power and double crit. And its second skill is Counterblast 2, and your opponent has to retire 1 unit on their side of the field, which is good, but deck already is very Counterblast heavy as it is. And 2 Descendant, because of, like, it's Descendant. You could run 4-4, I mean, you don't need Descendant in this deck. Especially since there's a lot of cross-ride decks, Nouvelles there, so Descendant isn't really that amazing anymore. But it's still a good restander, so basically, its skill is if you attack your opponent's Vanguard with limit break 4, your opponent in this attack did not hit, so you did not do double trigger stack Vanguard or something. But if the attack did not hit, you can counter +1, drop 3 Eradicators cards. So Rising Phoenix doesn't count, and it restands and gain a crit. So it only restands. So unlike Minerva, it does not gain 5k power or something else. So it's really not that amazing. Second skill is really useful though. It's counter +2 to gain 5k power. So most of the time when I'm playing like against a cross-ride deck, I tend to play more conservatively with my counterblast. So I can still use the counterblast 2 for 5k on Descendant, so it can at least hit the opponent's Vanguard. Because if it's 11k and your opponent is 13, and you can just no guard, and it's really not that amazing. So yeah, that's pretty much the update of my Eradicators deck. Nothing much more to say about that. Of course, this weekend will be the European Continental Tournament. Well, I'll keep you guys updated after the tournament by making a sort of a real-life vlog. But if there are any questions on the deck profile, please post them in the comment section below. And see you guys at the next video.